What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And this one, I want to talk about what's going on with Tesla stock in the overall market. I want to provide you guys with a very important warning about Tesla and something big that's going on with it. I'm also going to talk about why tomorrow is going to be another significant day and something very important you need to know. But before I begin to have all this information, before I get into any more details and talk about all these different tickers, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. Anyways, let's talk about what's going on with Tesla and the market. So right now, Tesla has this, you could argue that we have like a bear flag that's forming, but as of right now, Tesla has not broken down. We're just respecting this channel, getting higher and higher, slowly climbing, which is quite decent. But the question is, will Tesla end up getting an ultimate breakdown where it starts to just sell off maybe by tomorrow, maybe later on? Or is Tesla going to likely try to hold this up? So I'm going to be breaking down some information about that. I just want to let you guys know that Tesla has a nice range right now. We've been trying to hold above 250. We also have 252 as support and then 254 as this resistance. And so far, resistance is holding up quite decently. Now we have this channel, which is holding up quite nicely thus far. We'll be watching to see how Tesla ends up kind of like moving relative to the channel. But there's something very big coming that's going to affect Tesla in the market, and that's going to be coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow, 1 hour before the market opens, we have PCE data coming out. This is just like CPI. This is very important because it's going to affect the Fed's policies. The Fed is likely not going to raise rates, but the Fed is going to determine if they're going to end up cutting rates sooner or later. So data like this is going to be very important for that. So with that being said, an hour before the market opens, we have PCE data year over year coming out, and we have core PCE data coming out year over year. We want this to be below what the previous reports are. We're expecting some kind of drop. And what is good about this, and this is what I'm going to tell you, CPI came out for November and it was quite decent. It was as expected. So PCE may be as expected too, hopefully. There's a very good chance of that happening. And then if that happens, this could even help Tesla in the market kind of like gap up a little bit, but will we just gap up and go, or will the market likely like gap up and then drop? So I want to be very careful. In fact, I can't even promise it's going to gap up. It really depends on the report. I can't make any promises. But if we do kind of gap up, are we going to gap up and then drop as time goes on? Because tomorrow is going to be Friday, the last Friday before a long weekend. Usually on Fridays like that, the market sells off a bit near the end of the day because there's going to be some profit taking. Is it going to happen or not? That all depends on the data. So we'll just have to wait for that. But I just want to warn you guys. So if you're holding some kind of options, some kind of like trade position, whether you're swing trading or not, I just want to let you know that it could be a little tricky, a little risky to hold overnight. I can't promise anything. I just want to make it clear that there is some risk in doing so. We don't truly know with 100% certainty if the market will gap up or gap down. Is there a good chance the market could try to gap up? Maybe. But once again, guys, I can't promise anything. So if you want to hold overnight, it's the risk you have to take. It's a risk on you. If you don't want to hold overnight, if you don't want to risk it playing PCE, which is coming out before market open, you have one last chance to exit your positions. I'm not referring to shares, guys. A lot of us are just long-term investors. We're going to hold regardless. I'm referring to like short-term options, long positions, short positions, or anything like that. We have only about an hour and 15 minutes left at the time I'm recording this until the market closes. This is your last chance to exit those positions if you want to do that. Anyways, now let's talk about Tesla and just a couple more things. So when it comes to Tesla, there's some news coming out that Tesla's having issues producing the 4680 cells for the Cybertruck. Honestly, guys, that's completely fine. This is what we expected. Tesla's going to have a lot of production issues. It's going to be normal for the Cybertruck. It's new. They're still developing new products. They're still working on the battery cells. It's going to be okay. This is normal. This is what tends to happen. So don't let this really fool you. Now, this report, some articles are saying it's kind of sketchy. It's not as bad as what they're saying. At the current rate, at which they're producing them, they're saying it's about 24,000 Cybertrucks a year. Well, is it going to maintain that rate for the rest of the year, for all of 2024? I don't think so. I think over time, they're going to be producing more battery cells even quicker. I think they're going to need to make a lot of improvements, and they're still working on that. And that's the very important thing I'm trying to tell you. The Cybertruck is not meant to become this massive product that makes Tesla a boatload of money instantly. It's going to be a product that's going to have a lot of hurdles. There are going to be some difficult moments with it. It's going to be a little bit more tricky for Tesla to develop different parts, develop the production mechanisms to mass produce it. It's going to be tricky, okay? In the beginning, it's going to be tough, and this is all part of it. But the long term, I have faith in Tesla. I saw what they did with the Model 3. They had the same issues, they overcame it, and I believe in Elon Musk and the team. I believe they will overcome, so don't let articles like this get the best of you. All right? So, yes, there's truth behind this. There is difficulty with the Cybertruck, mass producing it. Yes. But over time, I believe Tesla will prevail. I believe Tesla will still have strong deliveries, and I believe that this is going to be a big winner for Tesla. You just have to give it time. Plain and simple. All right. So now let's talk about what's going on with Tesla. We have resistance at 254, and we have support around this 252 area. Watch this range. Let's see how Tesla performs. It might just be stuck in the range for the remainder of the day, going back and forth with not much happening for today. But for tomorrow, it's either going to gap up or gap down. We'll see if Tesla could gap up and turn bullish, or if it gaps up and then just like drops or whatever happens. I'll be talking more about that later, but I don't know with 100% certainty what's going to happen. So just be very careful with PCE. The market is full of manipulation, and I personally actually exited a lot of my like options, any like other positions I have. I am holding shares though. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm holding all my shares for Tesla and etc. I'm not exiting those. So I'm just going to be very careful. But for now, the market's kind of sideways, not really doing a whole lot. So it might not do too much until the end of the day. Tesla is starting to sell off just a little bit, but I don't expect it to just like crash extremely hard unless there's a bad piece of news. I think for the most part, it's just going to remain in its range for the remainder of the day. Then we'll see what happens once the PC report comes out. As far as SPY goes, we also had this flag that was forming. You guys could see that SPY got a nice break to the downside. There's a very good short opportunity right here. And also from this break, you technically could have shorted to catch this big move down. But the thing about SPY is it's trying to recover just a bit. We will see if this thing kind of gaps up to push up to 472, maybe higher, and then it drops, or if it just gaps down and drops. I don't know 100% for sure. I think there's a good chance we might kind of like gap up and drop, but I'll talk more about that later. I don't know for sure, guys. It is risky to hold overnight, so just be very careful. SPY has been shuffling around between 471 and 470 with a lot of chop between 470. We're going to be watching to see if this thing can break out or not. We're going to be watching to see if we get some kind of rejection. And we're going to be very patient as time goes on. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it, at least for SPY. It's kind of stuck in this range. It might not do a whole lot. Could we sell off a bit more for the end of the day? Maybe we could. But like I said before, it doesn't matter as much because we're going to be looking for a big move once PCE comes out. And we'll see what the reaction is after the market opens tomorrow. So it is kind of shuffling around this 470 area. Watch 471 is resistance. Then we have 471.5 is the next resistance. Then 472, 472.5 above that. Very, very tight levels. For support, watch 470. If it loses that, there's 469, then 468. 469 is very close to where we bounced. We're kind of stuck right now in the 470 range. Might just remain like this. Maybe get an end of the day sell off, but nothing too crazy. For the triple Q, got a very, very nice looking flag. I warned everyone, if we lost this yellow support, this 405.7 area, expect it to come down towards the 404 range. I thought it might actually try to fill this gap and then bounce. It actually came just short of doing that. But it's okay because now we're trying to get back above the yellow support. So this is important because the QQQ is trying to hold up. We have resistance now around this 406.75 area. Then we also have 407, then 408 above that. For support, make sure you watch 405.7. Then we have 405 flat and 404.3. Then we have this gap fill. The gap area is where 404 is. We're just kind of stuck on the QQQ, just trading sideways in the 406s. It's been stuck like this for many hours. It might just remain like this for quite some time. We could sell off a little bit towards the end of the day, but I'm not expecting it to be too crazy. We're going to be looking for more volatility after all of the PCE reports come out, all the data comes out, and we're going to be watching for it to either gap up or gap down. If it gaps up, it could test 408 and then reject, or if it gaps down, it could actually come below 404 and start sinking. I do think there's a good chance we kind of like gap up and then drop, but we'll just have to wait and see, guys, just to be safe. Once again, it is kind of risky, so don't just solely trade based off what I'm kind of like speculating. You also want to be doing your research. You also want to be very careful with trades. Trading is risky, guys, so always be careful. When it comes to Nvda, all right, Nvidia has been coming down with a slight downtrend on a break from this channel, and we excuse me, we ended up testing 485. We're testing 485 quite decently. We managed to hold above it for the majority of the time. Are we going to gap up, kind of grab liquidity here, then drop, or are we going to eventually just drop back down to 482 to kind of like finish filling this gap and drop lower? We'll just have to wait and see. But for now, Nvidia, in my opinion, we got this nice little break right here. It's not looking as strong as before, and there's going to be a risk of some potential downside. So I just wanted to warn you about that. Although Nvidia is looking this way, I just want to warn you that a big move is coming tomorrow. Could we pop and drop? It's a possibility. Be prepared for that. Just do what you have to do and be very careful when it comes to the rest of the day. It might just remain within its range right now. It's kind of stuck between 458 and 488. Might be stuck here for the remainder of the day, so we'll just have to see how it goes. And now, when it comes to Aapl, I just want to mention that Aapl was a really nice short today because what happened was it got a false break from this channel. This was a fake move. Just barely broke above 197 and came right back down. Upon this fake wick that formed to basically trigger stops, right? It came down and then right around this range, this is where like a really good short entry could have been because once it started to lose the support, you knew this thing was going to sink. Once the support broke, Aapl went berserk and we saw Aapl just sink like crazy. So with that being said, we got this big drop. I told you if we lost this support, expect not for 194. Excuse me, guys. Expect that if we got this big drop. Instead, it actually went down to 193.5, which is our next level, almost to a T. Now it's trying to get back to 194.4. So watch resistance at 194.4. If it breaks that, there's 195. If it rejects, there's 194, then 193.5 as support. What do I think Apple's going to do? Range trade for the rest of the day. I don't expect too much to happen. We have 1 hour left. This is your last chance to exit positions if you want to, and we'll see what it does tomorrow. I'll be talking more about it tomorrow in my next video, but I just want to warn you guys, this is your last chance. Do what you have to do. I think Apple's going to remain range bound for the rest of the day. All right, so that's what I have for this video. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys later on for the final video of the day, and I'll be making some more announcements then as well. Thank you for listening, guys. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and peace out.